Been involved in shoes for quite some time and had the pleasure of working with Jean-Luc for most of my career. So it's been super fun for us to collaborate again on Hoka and put some insights to use. But ultimately, this whole thing with speed, and Jean-Luc said it perfectly, it's him and Nico are speed freaks. I mean, if you ever ski with them or drive with them, you're terrified the entire time. And I think that, you know, as the public kind of started learning about Hoka, it was like, oh, I'm injured, or I'm going on this ultra marathon and I need something that's really protective. And I think it shifted the story a little bit away from the fact that we're trying to make people go faster, whether you're going 100 miles, right? Or you're injured and you're trying to go as fast as you can, you know, trying to get through that injury. But one thing that I think that Clayton really represents is we can speak to different people with these fundamental stories. And I think that it also get, you know, we read the magazines and they're just like, hey, it looks like Hoka's taken a big turn away. And it's like, not really, we're just speaking to a different audience. You know, we're trying to take someone, instead of going 100 miles, someone that's going 26 miles and say, what type of product does that person need to go 26 miles as fast as they possibly can, with the protection and stability that we can bring to the table with the innovations coming from our fundamental ethos, right? And so much of it is protecting the athlete. And Jean-Luc has had some. I've been listening to his presentations because he's quite good at this. And one thing that he really talks about is how we feel at the end of the race, right? And this notion that at the end of the race is really when things happen. It's like you pay to play to get to the end, and then things need to turn on. And if you're feeling good at that point, then the world is yours. If you're beat down, then good luck holding on. And I think we all experience that all the time. But one of the notions of Hoka is let's protect people until they can get to the place where they can actually perform at the end of the race. So that's something that we keep, and I think it's a very unique perspective. Where so many brands have approached it. We've approached it many times. It's like, let's build the lightest product that we possibly can, because that's our way of making something more efficient. And Hoka has really remained so light, and yet built in these features. Like, you look at the bottom of the Clayton, this shoe is super wide, right? And yet it's still just around 7 ounces. So this idea that you can have a shoe that's that stable, that's giving you that much protection, that much foam in it, and yet it's still super light, that's a really different paradigm as far as how this, and that's what's so fun about this as well, is this shoe represents quite a difference in the way that we've been constructing shoes, and yet it fulfills all of the principles that we want to uphold as far as the brand. So it's not off our plan at all.
So, and we'll explain with Chris how this development went, and there are here quite a few very good triathletes, to say the least. And one of the things that is very interesting with triathlon, as you know, you start the marathon by already having done all the swimming and all the biking. So it's pretty unique, but by the fact that you start the marathon by being already tired. So what people are looking for is something that could help them, and help them typically in the key difficult phases. So where it was becoming very obvious, even if you look at the time of the top 50 in Kona and arrive miles 20, and you will see a huge drop in the speed at that moment. So people are at like 6:15 a mile, and then you see within the top 50, I mean, it drops down quickly: 6:15, 6:30, 7:15, 7:30, 8 minutes, down to 10 minutes a mile, even at that stage among the top 50 runners. So you see that where the difference gets made very quickly in those areas. That's why what Chris was saying, winning is first of all about not losing. In so many sports, it's really about this, and it's really at the key moment at the end where you can make the difference. Essentially, not by accelerating, but by keeping your speed. So often even in track and field, you get the feeling, wow, this guy is accelerating, or this guy or woman flying like crazy at the end. No, he or she is the only one that has kept their speed, and everybody has contracted. Even in the last 100 meter at the World Championships, Bolt was the only one that stayed relaxed at the end, whereas Justin Gatlin just kind of got cramped. and he just lost because of this. So this whole notion was first of all important. Then it was looking at what's happening. Everybody would like to be always perfectly running, meaning landing on midfoot, forefoot, etc., pushing appropriately and so on. How long do you think that happens? Even on a 5,000 meter or on a 10,000 meters. When you look at the reality in slow motion, at half of the race, even on a 5K, most of the people are ill striking. That's a reality. That's something you wouldn't like to think is happening, but that's a reality. So those notions lead by just observing what the reality is, to say, you know what, we want to address all the situations for the people. Whatever is their stride, but in the key moments where it gets difficult, they should not be penalized for that. They should, on the contrary, let's say, limit the penalty to be able to continue. And in addition, in training, I mean, if in training you are not getting hurt, of course you are going to be a better racer all the time. So this notion of taking it the reverse way, first training, don't get injured in training, then in racing, get ready for the final moment to get the performance, is a different way of classically engineering shoes. And this is what led to that concept where we said, okay, so now what do we want? We want with that shoe, and that was the brief that was given to Chris, and then he explained how it's done. The brief was pretty easy, pretty simple. So we want